Now that you're up to this part of the course, I'm not going to lie to you. I've snuck in a lot of hard things that I kept repeating, so you have a better understanding for the harder stuff, which is the structure and S&D together. So at this stage, you have learned breaker structures, supply and demand zones, and liquidity. Before making a trade, you now need to tick three things off. One, is there a breaker structure, which comes back to structure? Two, is there a supply or demand zone within this breaker structure? Supply and demand. And three, is there any type of liquidity above my demand zone, or is there any type of liquidity below my supply zone? Now you need to remember, this is how we trade. Structure, supply and demand, liquidity, and then confirmations. So in this order, structure comes first, supply and demand comes second, liquidity comes third, and then confirmations come last. We will have a section for confirmations after, but for now, you just need to make sure you have structure, supply and demand, and liquidity working together first, okay? So I'm gonna show you this. We have a breaker structure here, and then from this breaker structure, right, we have a structure that's valid as it has reacted off a zone that was created by a breaker structure. So the yellow is the analysis I'm trying to show you guys. Yellow breaker structure, the yellow is the supply zone, and then the yellow is the liquidity. We didn't care about this, okay? This comes later, but the first thing we marked out was this breaker structure. So structure ticked off. What happened? Why is this breaker structure valid? Because it reacted off the supply zone. This supply zone was created from this breaker structure. That's why I marked this out first, but I wanted to show you this. Now, after we had this breaker structure, we wanted to mark out our supply zone, okay? Number two, supply. This supply zone was created from this breaker structure. Again, this breaker structure was valid because it reacted off this supply zone. Now, this supply zone was valid because of this breaker structure. Breaker structure ticked off, supply ticked off. What's next is liquidity. What do we have here? Now we have liquidity below our supply zone, making the supply zone more valid. And the supply zone is valid because of this breaker structure. And yeah, I'm not gonna say that whole thing again. But what do we have? We have structure, supply, and liquidity. Price is now valid for shorts since it ticked our checklist. Because we have all three typed out, we can now take a trade from that supply zone. With confirmation, of course, but I don't think I'm teaching you guys confirmation right now. What happens if we entered off this analysis? Okay, I'll just tell you guys the confirmation. The confirmation is that we take the trade once the body closes outside of the candlestick. So you see this candlestick here? If the body closes outside of the zone, that's when we take the trade. We wouldn't take the trade if it closes within the zone. So you see how like there's a white candle here and it closes within, and this black candle how it opens. But once this gray candle or black candle closed below, which is bearish, that's when we take the trade. So I will have a section for confirmations because there's a lot of ways we can make confirmations. But yeah, if we entered off that, then this trade ran 37 RR. So what does 37 RR mean? Well, hopefully you watched the simple RR video that I made. If we risked $100 on this trade, then it was either we lost $100 if it hits the stop loss, or we made 3.7 thousand. So that's the power of RR, 37 RR. Think about all those times you lost thousands while only being able to make a couple hundred trading. Because I know that a lot of people, they don't trade in terms of RR. They trade in terms of gambling. Like they're risking their whole entire portfolio in order to make a couple $100. You're losing tens of thousands to make $200-300. But the way I trade and my system, where we have a small stop loss and a large take profit. So if we lose little. But if we win big. And that is the power of RR. Not a lot of these retail mentors will teach you this, but this is how you maintain profitability, because the losses do not matter as long as one win makes it all back. A lot of people have this all wrong where they have, oh, I'm on a 10 winning streak, but I know that one loss, they lose all those wins. And that's how a lot of people trade and invest. That's not what we do. That's RR, but I will teach you RR. I'll make a better RR video on this later. But yeah. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.